Yeah, I left this place kind of a mess. I just kind of got up and walked out. So I obviously needed the break. But yeah, I'm gonna clean up and then I'm gonna get to work. And maybe I'm gonna clean up. Picture fell down, and can I even be bothered to set up a camera? I don't know. I don't know. I guess not. No, I'll do it. I'll do it. Hey guys, so it's May 2nd. I just got home yesterday. I was treated to a little bit of a fun weekend with a friend of mine. So thank you to Diana for getting me out of my house, much needed. But we are at the beginning of a new month and it is time to get back to work. So always for some reason forget that May is Mother's Day, and sorry mom, but I always forget that it's coming. Like it's like Thanksgiving. Like I know it's in November, but then it always somehow sneaks up on me. But yeah, so in the shop, one of my best sellers is the Paint Your Pet kits. And thankfully, that's something that people are interested in for Mother's Day. And so I did a quick restock before I left, and that all sold out. So I'm going to do one more quick restock because I think I'm going to be able to get out a few more before the holiday. I know I can ship them in time, and I want to make sure that everybody who wants one can get one. So I'm going to quickly update my shop, and then I'm going to get started on all the orders that piled in this weekend. So thank you so much, guys. I am going to get to work. Okay, guys, so here's the thing about May. Did you ever just have like one of those months where like everything that you have to do is like nothing that you want to do? So that was kind of the thing about May, and I kind of think that it almost happens anytime I come back from a vacation. So I got to take a little bit of time off in April, and not really a lot of time off, just like a long weekend. And before you go away, you think you're going to get everything done. And inevitably, I always just end up pushing things until I get back. Like, oh, that can wait till I get back. Oh, I'll do that when I get back. And so I end up with this to-do list when I get back that just totally zaps any like creative energy that I may have built up or reinvigorated over the time that I took off. So I don't know if that's the way for anybody else, but it seems to be the way for me. And like it kind of puts me in this perpetual cycle of just needing to take more and more time off. And really what I just need is just somebody to do all of these things that I don't want to do for me. But I can't really do that. I need to get them done. The thing is, I didn't get any of them done. So I'm talking about things like I need to redo my website. I recently migrated my website from one provider to another, and I need to actually build the new site and put it up. That's the kind of thing that is like just one of the things that you have to do and not necessarily something that you want to do. Even though it would be beneficial. But I mean, just life stuff, even like going to the doctor, going to the dentist, taking the dog to the vet. There's just a million things that needed to get done. And it was, it was just not what I felt like doing. What I felt like doing was painting. And so what I ended up doing was painting. Lots and lots of painting. So you guys, hopefully you're following over on Instagram and you saw all the paintings that we did over there. I tried to show you as many of them as I could, but it wasn't even all of them. I did so many paintings because really what I wanted to do was not just paint, but paint with my new acrylic gouache. And of course, I say new, it's new to me. And I know I'm super late to this party, guys, but acrylic gouache was just something that I put off even trying for the longest time, just because the cost of a tube of paint, like a tiny tube of paint for $10, when I already had matte acrylics, I already had regular gouache. What's the difference, right? So, of course, now that I've used them, I see why everyone loves them so, so much. Now, I did not buy these paints. I was gifted them, and not by the company, but like a friend gifted them to me. And they're not the most expensive paints. I think the most expensive acrylic gouache that I've seen is the Holbein. These are their Turner version, and I love them. Like, I don't think that they're any lesser than the Holbein version. I did try the Holbein version. I didn't buy a full set. I got a set for my birthday, which was just the primaries, the mixing set, the primaries in black and white. And I like those, and I do like mixing my own colors. And even with the set of, I think, 24 that I have here, I'm still mixing my own colors. But yeah, I don't see the difference in quality between the Holbein and the Turner. Now, I'm no expert in these paints. And so, yeah, so I am in love with these paints. I absolutely adore them. I expected to do maybe 1 week of these paints, and I think I couldn't stop. For the whole rest of the month, this was all I wanted to do, was these little 6x6 panel paintings of, all these adorable dogs. I think partly the other reason why I wanted to do all these paintings was because, like I mentioned, I was packing up all of these paint your pet kits. And of course, seeing all of those go out the door, I just wanted to, I wanted to paint so many of them. So I kind of mirrored the style of those, this kind of graphic style, because I thought, the acrylic gouache, they're kind of like gouache. And for me, gouache is a more graphic medium in terms of the way I like to see it used. And so I thought that would be a good way to kind of introduce this into my practice. And, it didn't necessarily have to be that way. I could have tried anything, but I think this was just like top of mind. And it was, like I said, it was just kind of what I wanted to do in the moment. So I thought it might be fun to just talk a little bit about my experience with these paints. I would love to hear if anyone out there has had similar experience or completely different experience. But for me, there were a couple of things that I really liked about working with these paints, and a couple of things that I think could become a problem in the future, or could just be something that would be worth trying to figure out a workaround or how to deal with. And so let me start with the things that I love about these paints. So I already mentioned one is the saturation. The saturation of color in these paints is amazing. And for somebody who does not typically work with high saturated colors in their work, having that having that opportunity with these paints, and even kind of being forced to do that with these paints, was actually a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. And I probably even dulled down most of the colors. Like, I don't think I used any colors straight out of the tube except for maybe the white. I mixed almost every color with their complement, and I still feel like I got such a saturated palette and such bright, vibrant pictures and paintings out of these paints that I'm just like, it's changed the way that I've looked at all of my palettes for all of my other paints. So that's one thing that I actually super love. And the other thing that goes right along with that I also mentioned is the ability to mix. These colors mix like a dream. There were so many colors that I saw in this palette, in this 24 set, that I was like, oh, I'm never going to use this color, right? Like there was this aqua color, and I thought, it's just too vibrant. I'm never going to use it. But when you mix that aqua color with, say, a sepia, you get the most gorgeous, gorgeous gray that you could ever get. Like, that was amazing. Not sepia, burnt sienna. Burnt sienna and aqua together, oh my goodness, made just a gorgeous color. So things like that are things that I'm just like so excited to discover more of. There are so many other colors in that palette that I'm like, oh, I don't think I would ever use this. There's like a lime green. Like, when am I ever going to use a lime green? But there's probably an opportunity to mix that lime green in with something else and get some gorgeous color that I couldn't even imagine. So that's that. And the last thing that I'll mention about these paints that I really, really love is just the opacity of them. So when you put these paints down, they are opaque, like every single one of them. It's not like an acrylic or an oil paint where, you have to look through to see which ones are opaque. And even the ones that are opaque aren't really opaque. Like, I'm talking about when you put down acrylic gouache and you put a white over a black, it is not gray. Like, it is white. It stays white. And every color is like that. So that's something that I can super appreciate. Now, the fact that they're matte is fine. That's not actually a huge deal for me. Like, I don't find that to be something that is a big deal with most of my acrylic paints. There's not enough sheen on them to ever bother me, but these are super, super matte. Now, the good thing about that is if you are working mixed media, I think that, drawing over these with colored pencil or with like an oil pastel or something like that would be probably really, really nice if you were working on paper, especially. Going over these with a colored pencil would be, it would be a dream. It would go right over them. You wouldn't get that situation that you get with like a regular acrylic paint where certain pencils, like waxy pencils, just will not leave a mark on that paint. It's like oil and water. They just don't mix. With these, they're so matte that they basically are like writing on paper. And so I could see where a lot of people would really enjoy that. And I definitely, now that I'm thinking about it, want to give that a try at some point. Okay, so now on to the things that I don't really love about these paints. So the first thing is probably the thing that you're going to hear from just about anybody, which is that they dry so darn fast. Like, as soon as you mix a color on the palette and you go to paint it and then you go to pick up some more of that color, it's practically dry. Like, like in seconds, it's gone. And so that can be good in some ways, because having to remix your colors means that you are training yourself to know how to make those colors. However, if you're trying to put down a large area like I am in the backgrounds of a lot of these paintings, that can be super, super frustrating, because I want a big flat area of this one color, and I have to mix up so much of it to, you know, to just have enough to cover. And these are small, like these are tiny panels, like they're 6x6 panels. And yeah, the surface area that I'm covering is not that much, but I have to mix up so much paint. And you can add a lot of water to these paints to kind of extend them or to keep them wet. You can add a little bit, and that's kind of the trick, is figuring out exactly how much. Because if you add too much, then they just start to kind of fall apart. But if you don't add enough, they dry so fast. So yeah, so you're gonna, while you're figuring that out, you're probably gonna waste a lot of paint like I did. And that's the other thing that I don't like about these, is that there is kind of a lot of waste. And if you don't wanna have a lot of waste, like if you don't wanna squeeze out a lot of paint and then have to throw it away because it dried up, you have to constantly be squeezing out more paint. And that's kind of annoying as somebody who, you know, likes to take their time and think about what they're doing as they're painting and not kind of have everything super planned out from the beginning. It's kind of annoying to keep running out of paint and having to put more out because you're running out. In the month of May, I've actually used up quite a few of the tubes that came in the 24 set. The colors that I use most frequently. So, for instance, the white, the burnt sienna, the aqua. There's a couple of blues. What else? The yellow ochre. Like, they're almost gone. The black, like they're almost gone. Like I have barely any left. I'm like squeezing the tube as hard as I can to get any out. And that's after just 1 month of doing daily paintings of these 6x6 panels. So what I have figured out is what has helped is using a ceramic palette and having a little spray mister that I can mist the palette while I'm working. Kind of keeps things a little bit moister. I don't want to try a stay wet palette. I just seems like more work than it's worth for me, but I might have to give that a try if it will save my paint. So, and the last thing that I have to complain about with these paints is just that they're kind of hard to find. Like, so in the art shop that I go to, they don't even have them. And when I look for them online, you can find these sets like I have, but it's hard to find just the individual, like all the individual tubes of paint. So that's the only other thing that is kind of a bummer. But other than that, am I going to keep using them? Absolutely. Am I going to buy another full set if I have to just to get the colors that I want? Absolutely. That's how much I like them. For all the things that I'm complaining about, they're definitely not enough to stop me from using these paints. These are going to be part of my regular routine. That's how much I like them. Okay, that is it for me, guys. I'm gonna wrap up May by just packing up all these little paintings and shipping them out to their new homes. And oh yeah, we got to make this month's monthly donation. So thanks to everybody who was able to purchase a portrait this month, which makes this donation possible. Thanks to everyone over on Instagram for following along and voting for the organization that will receive this month's donation. And yeah, thanks to you guys for watching. So don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more. And yeah, I will see you next time.